well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The day I passed my gun safety course, I went hunting with my dad. Weekends in the woods with him were the best times I ever had. So when I hear some politician trying to take that freedom away, I stand my ground. I don't back down. I've got a gun that can feed my family. I've got one that protects my home. It's my right by the Constitution to keep and bear the arms I own. I'm a law-abiding, patriotic American to the bone, and I will defend it. The Second Amendment.
Welcome to episode number 5 of the Speaking of Guns podcast, where we cover anything and everything related to guns, gear, concealed carry, maybe even a little politics thrown in from time to time. I'm your host, Tim Shields.
And I'm your other host, Janet Shields.
Well, the week in review here. What have we done in the last week, Janet?
Well, I have just ordered a new holster for my first IDPA match coming up in 3 weeks. That's coming up soon, right around the corner. It is. I'm excited, but unfortunately I may not have my holster in time to do a whole lot of drawing practice with it.
Yeah, and this is your very first...
My first competition match.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at it more as a orientation to the sport rather than...
Well, I asked if I could come just as a spectator, and they said, bring your gear, bring your firearm, because once you see it, you're going to want to compete. You're going to want to join in and shoot.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you got a holster, Blade Tech is what I believe that we ordered for you.
Right, with 2 magazine holders.
Yeah, so you'll be all set as soon as that comes in the mail.
Excited to get started.
We got something else in the mail.
We did.
We got 2,500 rounds of ammunition just came in the mail.
It did.
They're having some really good sales right now. We didn't get in on this particular sale, for Black Friday and Cyber Monday and that sort of thing. But I guess they were having sales leading up to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But we got some good deals. We got 1,500 rounds of 22 caliber and about 1,000 rounds of 9mm. And this time we're trying some steel-cased ammunition rather than brass.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, I've never shot steel-cased. It should perform well, I'm sure. I mean,
we'll see.
I haven't heard too many people complain about it. I guess you just don't want to hold a magnet close to it.
Not really.
Well, in the last episode, we also mentioned that we were getting all excited about our vacation that was coming up. We were going to the mountains of North Carolina to do some shooting, some long-distance shooting with our ARs, and that did not happen.
Nope. Just as we were packing Friday morning, getting ready to leave, we received a phone call from our vet. We took the dogs to the vet on Wednesday for boarding, and Friday morning, the vet called and said our oldest dog, who's 10 years old, has a growth or mass, and she is going to require surgery.
Yeah, this coming Thursday. And
yeah, she put an urgency on it, not an emergency, but an urgency to it. So when we weighed out everything, we decided we couldn't be out of state if our dog was having to have surgery.
Yeah, it just wouldn't have been a pleasant time. We would have been worried about the dog, and it just would have put a real wet blanket on the whole trip. So we decided to cancel the trip, and
talk to y'all.
There'll be other times. Yeah, we were concerned about exactly how we were going to work a podcast in, because we were planning to try to get one recorded on Wednesday or Thursday, right around Thanksgiving, but life got so hectic that we just didn't get that done. So then we even contemplated taking our recording equipment with us and recording while we were in North Carolina. We were real concerned about that. As it worked out, though, we are still home, so we have our new little studio set up here in our little, what we call our parlor. We're sitting in front of our bookcases and our, what is that, about 7 or 8 foot tall mummy sarcophagus in our...
Yes, folks, we do have a mummy sarcophagus.
Yeah. When we get pizza delivered, the pizza guy, when he's standing there at the door, he looks in there and goes, is that a mummy coffin? It gets some weird looks, doesn't it?
It does. One time... Well, let's not go into that.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say about the yard sale we had that you put the mummy sarcophagus out.
Oh, yeah. I put the mummy sarcophagus out. I had no intention of really selling it, but you know how you drive by a yard sale and you just kind of drive by slow at first looking to see, now, do they have anything interesting? Well, you know, what's more interesting to make people stop than a big giant mummy sarcophagus? And it worked. I mean, people pulled over and wanted to come look at all of our toasters and vacuum cleaners and other junk that we had for sale just because of the mummy sarcophagus. I put a little sign on it that said mother-in-law suite or something like that.
You did. Well, I think we got a little bit sidetracked.
We did. But anyway, the point was that we got our new little studio set up here and we're still at home and able to bring the podcast to you. So let's move on to our firearms in the news, shall we?
It's time for Firearms in the News.
My Firearms in the News story comes to us from Irondale, Alabama, and was reported by WBRC. A group of Birmingham nurses took their safety into their own hands recently. They participated in a self-defense gun training course. Leeton Ratliff, who was one of the participants, said, "You know, in the world that we live in today, I know knowledge is power." She asked several of her co-workers, who were also all nurses at the hospital she works in, to go through the course with her. They learned how to use guns properly in case they are ever forced to defend themselves. Being comfortable and knowing how to use guns safely is of the utmost importance, said Ratliff. And the instructor said, well, what we're trying to do is teach the students how to react appropriately in a home invasion. While knowing how to shoot is important, the instructor also believes so is analyzing all the options. The best way to win a confrontation is to avoid it. So they can have an option in their home. Just because they could shoot doesn't mean they should. It's an exercise in teaching defense as much as safety. And the police sergeant in the town said, "We appreciate the citizens taking classes like this, showing interest in firearm safety." And going back to Ms. Ratliff, she said, "Now we can go home knowing that we are safer and we have more knowledge." I love these stories about women taking control of their personal safety and taking classes and showing that they are overcoming what some may have as a fear of firearms and just learning how to properly shoot.
Yeah, we talk about in our classes about, you know, how the best way to win a gunfight is to never get in one. And that is so true. I mean, if you can either diffuse a confrontation or even better, avoid the confrontation altogether, that is so much better than actually having to get into a lead swapping contest with them, isn't it?
It is.
All right, well, my firearms in the news, and the headline is "Gun Store Lines Stretch Around the Corner on Black Friday." And this story comes to us from Breitbart. The line to get into Shooter's Gun Store in Jacksonville, Florida, stretched around the corner as customers waited to get inside and buy the firearms and firearms accessories that they wanted for themselves and also the ones that they planned to give on, as Christmas gifts. And this scenario was not limited here in Florida either. In Randolph, New Jersey, shoppers were packing into this RTSP. It's a gun shop and firing range. CNN Money quoted Dr. Joseph Feldman, a surgeon from Montville. I guess that is in New Jersey as well. And this surgeon from Montville says he was buying a $500 Sig Sauer scope for his semi-automatic rifle, some ammunition for his 4 AR-15s, and he had his eye on a Henry lever action rifle too. So I guess the good doctor has plenty of money to spend there, huh?
He must.
The gun store owners in New York and New Jersey area admitted that they had not known really what to expect, on Black Friday, as they believed that Hillary Clinton's defeat might impact sales negatively. Had Trump, they thought if Trump won that sales would just kind of, flatten and there wouldn't be a big rush for guns. But her defeat kind of removed the looming threat of more gun control. But shoppers still poured in. They still came in because of low sale prices rather than trepidation over more gun laws. And the article here goes on to say that this, for example, Rick Reyes, I believe is how you pronounce it, the manager of LI Outdoorsman, it's a gun store in Rockville Center on Long Island in New York, said that shoppers came in for discounts of 10 to 50% rather than basing their visit on politics. In Florida, News 4 Jacksonville reported that Green Acres Shooting Goods, that's a gun store here in Jacksonville, it was packed with customers who saved really big on firearm deals. And Black Friday 2015 was the biggest day for background checks since 1998. And it set both a single-day record and Black Friday record. Yet this Green Acres manager, Philip Gazala, suggested the shopping crowds were even larger this year in 2016 on Black Friday. And he noticed an uptick of probably 50 to 75%, he said, where people are coming in to purchase, the gun and gun supplies because the deal's really good.
Well, it sounds to me like people were celebrating on Black Friday.
Yeah, celebrating their liberty, going out and buying a new gun or buying some ammunition, or, maybe they're getting ready for Christmas time too, with all the good deals that the gun shops are running. They can afford to buy.
Yeah, buy themselves a gift.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Buy yourself
Why
a gift.
not?
Nothing wrong with that. Let's move on to our defensive gun uses, shall we?
Go ahead. Make my day.
6:45 shots fired at my location.
And now, defensive gun uses from around the world and around the block.
Okay, my defensive gun use is, the headline is Yoga Instructor uses a Taurus 38 to kill 2 of 4 home invaders. And the story comes to us from gunwatch.blogspot.com. It says that on Friday night, the 25th of November, this well-known and apparently very successful yoga instructor, and I know I'm going to butcher her name here, but it was Hari Nam Kar Khalsa. Hari Nam Kar Khalsa was assaulted by 2 robbers in her bedroom. Her home and school are about 20 miles north of Santiago, Chile. And the robbers were half of a gang of 4 that invaded her home and school. And she and her partner and 2 students were in the house when the nighttime invasion occurred. And Khalsa was born in Texas. That's interesting that she lives in Chile and she was born in Texas. And it says that the official said that the pair of robbers found the yoga instructor in her bedroom, and despite them hitting her in the head with a gun and trying to tie her up, she was able to get free and grab a revolver hidden beneath her pillow. Khalsa shot the 2 men, killing one of them instantly. The other, badly wounded, died out in their yard after running outside, and neither man has been identified at the time that this article had been written. The other 2 robbers ran off. Dallas News reported that this original article had missed some of the interesting details about this story. The yoga instructor owned 2 Taurus 38 special revolvers, one of which she kept under her pillow, and it is likely the revolver used was a 6 or 7 shot model. Both are pretty popular and very common. The robber killed in her bedroom was shot 5 times. Ouch. The robber found outside the home was shot at least once. So she probably emptied her Taurus revolver. This person in the article here added that one of the 2 antisocials received 5 shots in his body and fell dejected in the same place where he stood. and the second subject was badly wounded. Ended up passing away on the patio of her property. And the other two accomplices